sound rude, it's because I got a world to save. A dream and nightmares of the past.
Thank you very much, Grabs, and quick shot. Here we are, game 3. We've already talked about it, backs against the wall. Grabs still feeling good despite this 0-2 state that G2 find themselves in, but I'm curious, how do people at home feel? Are the G2 faithful out? Are they strong? Are they ready to back up their team? Or is it everybody a Misfits fan now that they're 2-0 up in the series?
Seems like everyone would be a Misfits fan. There's usually some fair weather friends when it comes to these teams, and when you get the fan vote out there. And of course, with the heartbreaking loss for G2, when you have such a big early game advantage and it turns around like it did in the last time, it's really tough to sort of claw your way back and get yourself in the right mindset.
Remember that like G2 as an organization in Europe for a long time were considered almost the villains. They were the kind of bad guys, the people that upset some of the fan favorites like Fnatic. They were the team that when traveling internationally could never quite live up to the own expectations that they put upon themselves, but last year that really began to change, and this year they've been one of the big rivals and contenders against Fnatic, even with a brand new roster. But the thing for Misfits is they've always just been the surprise. They've always been the underdogs. They're the team that everyone underestimates, yet they come into situations where they're expected to fail, and then they just surprise. It happened against Fnatic, it happened against SKT, and it might be happening again. And this just causes so many fans to just get behind Misfits, because everyone loves an underdog story. And it's strange to think, because Misfits were 9-0 at the beginning of the split. So it's so strange to be saying that, but considering their second half, it's a little more understandable as to why G2 were considered such heavy favorites in this best of 5.
And you also have to remember the history now of G2, why people put so much faith in this team, even when they did have a little bit of a shaky second half. Well, with Misfits down, people often believe in G2 because this is a team, as you mentioned, that have been at the top. However, we're going to have to hold that because bot lane looks like we may already see an early gank coming in.
Yeah, Maxlord level 2 start on the spot side and are trying to go right on it.
Shut down. Draven looking for a first blood here. We need to try to stop anything from happening. Flash is starting to come out, find a bit more time. Is going to get stunned up. TP's now coming in. They need to get a kill. With deep flashing for his life. Mickey wants to get another one. Hansama can't get it. Is he going to get one more? First blood! A beautiful start to the game for Misfits.
Absolutely incredibly. Divide the map at level 1. Take complete control. Zone away G2 from the tower. There weren't even level 2. Yarn we did were stuck at level 1, and the play from the Poppy jungle absolutely works.
Fantastic early game from Misfits. If we ever said Misfits could have a best start to a game, this would be it. Getting Hansama ahead on his Draven off the back of a level 2 Maxlord gang is the perfect way to start.
There were so many mind games too from this entire play, with Maxlord invading with the rest of Misfits at level 1 to clear 2 camps away and then come straight on down here. And of course, Yarnan, he's trying to turn back around because they have the teleport coming through to make it a 3v3, but Woodid is still level 1, still too squishy, and the early game damage on a Draven cuts through him.
And Maxwell flashes in to take tower aggro to allow Hansama a little bit more time to actually get underneath and secure that kill, because if he tanked 2 tower shots, that might have been a 1-for-1. So nobody ends up dying on the side of Misfits. Hansama gets an early kill. He's now sitting at a 700 gold lead.
And there were so many incredible micro pieces of that play as well, because Hansama actually started the game with a red sweeper. He got a ward cleared right off the bat to hit level 2 a little bit earlier. They invade on the red buff and then have Maxlord walk straight down into the bottom lane where they know Jankos can't be there to defend from that dive.
No, he's not going to do it again.
No, you can't do this to no man. His backside, you have to have some mercy, Alfari.
How many times has Alfari got to do this before people start saying, yeah, maybe he is one of the best top laners in Europe? Wonder proved a lot when he went off to Rift Rivals, but since his return, he's not been able to do that. Bot lane, no, not quite able to find anything.
Every time anything lands in this bottom lane, you get a little bit nervous because this is a Draven that cashed in first blood really early on, so didn't get too much use out of the passive, but it's one of the most snowbally characters in the game.
Not just because of the passive, but also because of the massive CS lead he currently has. He is pushing in 2 waves here, so Kjarnan's going to be able to recoup some of it, but double longswords on top of the kill is just making it so hard for Hjarnan to lane comfortably.
Now, Flash was used for Hansama, and that's not going to be up for another 2.5 minutes, which means that Jankos, hopefully he can get level 6 in that period of time and look for a gank down towards the spot side of the map, because Wadid still has good setup with the Alistar, they still have decent damage with the Varus, and when you pair that up with the burst that a Nocturne ultimate can provide, maybe G2 can turn this bot lane back in their favor.
Yeah, and Rise for G2 as well on Perkz. Once he hits level 6, there's a lot of tools they have to rotate down bottom side. You remember last game with a very similar style of composition, that was the play for G2 to sit around here to punish this bottom lane if they ever walked a little bit too far in.
Now they're going to go look for another aggressive play. Mickey's going to be in trouble. Hansama, though, going so much damage with what he's so far. Maxter's going to leave. There's the hammer shot. Gets him with the shield. The Captain America finish.
That was so well played from Maxlor, charging for not even onto Wadid, but just to get in range for the hammer shot into the buckler kill. And this whole bottom lane situation just falling apart for G2.
Oh no, he's just gonna keep it going. Jankos doesn't even get the chance to use his spell shield. He uses the fear, but it's too little. One more auto!
Hansama is 2-0-1 in Game 3 against G2. Cast your minds back to Paris, ladies and gentlemen. Cast your minds back to when Hansama picked that Draven in Game 3 and G2 shut him down. This time round, Misfits are 2-0 up. Hansama is 2-0-1, and Misfits want to find.
They're coming back again!
Maxlor, he's unrelenting. The TP's now coming in too. He's just waiting for the opportunity to find the knockup. Hansama still managing to stay alive. The farmer can take one more tower shot. He is going to get taken down. G2 doing what they can to fire back, but with Deej, I don't think it's going to be enough. Alfari is just too tanky. The minion block not going to stop him in the double now for Maxlor.
They've got everyone in the bottom lane. Everyone. Misfits is back. They're looking to 3-0 G2 right here to knock G2 out of the playoffs. The first time in their organization's history that G2 could potentially not make it to the finals. And it's all off of this incredible play from Maxlor and the bottom lane of Misfits.
Gentlemen, I cannot believe my eyes. The aggression coming out from Maxlor. This replay brought to you by Ancient Predator. You can see how confident this man is.
And it all started with Wadid trying to set up a play for Jankos to come into the bot side of the map. Mickey was the one to actually kick off that aggression and thinking, okay, we can turn this around in our favor. Then Maxlor joins up late to the fight. And after securing that first kill, they go for more. Look, just max range of that E coming out from Maxlor secures the stun. Hansama then has enough damage to find the kill. And then Hjarnan thinks, okay, I can come back. This is fine. We can end up turning this around, especially with my support here. But no, the TP comes in.
Yeah, Maxlor is always there. Gets the perfect angles to make sure that wall slam is a stun. Gets it onto Hjarnan before land onto Jankos. And of course, the TP from Alfari just to tank this turret and make sure they can get another kill is just the cherry on top.
Now, unfortunately, Hansama took tower aggro. He ended up hitting Hjarnan just before anyone else on his team could, which means that he was CC'd long enough that he ended up losing his life, but he got so much gold off the back of that. BF sword plus a Vamp Scepter. Observers, just quickly swap over to the gold for us and let's have a look at the difference.
Oh my god, 1,500 gold. There's a 2K gold lead for the side of Misfits. Almost all of that is Hansama, the Draven cashing out, his signature pick coming through. If you are a Misfits fan, this is the most beautiful Game 3 you could have ever dreamed of, and for G2, you do not get a go next. This is it. It is do or die, and you are up against not only this team composition, but this massive gold lead.
Yeah, that's a lot here for Misfits. And of course, Maxlor not going to stop, wants to make sure that his bottom lane still has protection and can continue to play around this as Senkux starts the movement down into this bottom lane.
Now, you talked about this player, and but I feel like we need to give him more credit. Maxlor has been setting up so many of these plays. He had a fantastic Gragas last game, landing perfect ultimates, and now he's trying to snowball Hansama once again. He knows his win condition is get this AD carry ahead, and he is playing it beautifully. 3-0-2, 100% kill participation. Maxlor is the catalyst to allow Hansama to be the big carry.
He's been spending a lot of time here, not farming, just positioning, waiting for a play to break out around this bottom lane. It's because that tower is so incredibly low. They're waiting for that minion wave to reach the tower so they can try to zone them off once more, but Jankos is here to stop that.
For so long, G2 were holding on to these advantages they get in the laning phase. Wonder finally beating out Alphari, but in the mid lane, we see a different story for the first time this series. Perkz was getting demolished 1v1 in CS in just about every single matchup, but this time, he's looking so much better. 71 to 87 in the mid lane.
You must be feeling so confident right now if you're Perkz. The fact that your bot lane is winning so hard, the fact that Maxwell hanging around the mid lane, and Perkz has his ulti, no QSS has been completed yet. For Perkz, looks like they're going for it. There's the pings. You can see Jankos hanging off on the flank as well.
Gonna go in, the Predator comes through. Ooh, immediate flash, the moment of hesitation there for Perkz. Stops the play from going through. But a flash burn for a flash. Next time Maxwell's in that lane, Perkz is going to be in trouble, and no ulti burned as well.
The war of attrition down bottom lane finally cashes in for Misfits. They will get that tower, and this sets in motion the cascading effect that you get off of just a solo kill turret in the bottom lane. Now all of a sudden, you get to go take a drag, you get to rotate to the top lane and start knocking down the
camp bot lane even more.
Oh my god!
I mean, look, Maxwell here once again. No teleports are available except for the one on Perkz. They might just keep pushing this if they want to.
We wanted to see the Misfits bot lane get shut down. We wanted G2 to stop some of this from happening. Getting the Draven to snowball ahead, it's not happening. And Wonder finally winning the lane on his own. G2, yes, they're getting this Rift Arrow, but Hansama is backing it. He's going to complete that Stormrazor immediately. This is a terrifying Draven. It's going to take 2 or 3 autos to cut down these squishier members.
Now, G2 looking to play through the top side of the map. As you said, Wonder does have pressure. He's playing well on the Scion, and picking up the Riptide means that G2 can at least get a tower back for themselves. It means that they're not sacrificing the entirety of the map, that they can slow things down a little bit. And I think it's really worth highlighting that Hyun and Wadid, you can't really blame them for this situation. Getting dived at level 1 into getting hard capped, there are very few things you could do in this situation to really mitigate that kind of pressure.
Let's be clear, they queued up thinking they were playing against Maxwell, not Kikis. So when level 2 ganks come to mind, that is not the player you think of. But Maxwell, shifting it up, doing what he has to get this bottom lane ahead is so good for this team. But you're right, Hjarnan, hopefully keep the mental game strong. G2 need to keep their heads on their shoulders as they move further into the game, because it is not done yet, no matter how grim it looks.
Now, the one benefit G2 have is they're gonna very likely get both neutral objectives. You've got the Rift Arrow, which is able to trade for the first tower. Now they're setting up around the bottom lane as well. They're bringing in everyone for Alphari.
Alphari is going to be in trouble under the tower. He's trying to heal up as much as he can. Does have the stopwatch. Will buy a bit of time combined with the ultimate, but in goes Jankos. Where is he going to be in the end? Leaps right under the backline. Wants to take out Alphari. Oh! He gets knocked into the wall, and they say it's not going to happen. G2. Every light of hope you've ever held dear is going to get snuffed out in this game 3.
The stopwatch from Alphari was amazing. He went from being in a 1v4 to a 4 versus 4. Beautiful reactions from him, end up turning around a dive, and Misfits once again come out on top.
And there are not many teams that will teleport into a 4v5 situation like Misfits did right there, but they were confident. Now they're looking for Perkz.
Perkz knocked through the wall. The stuff's not going to come through, but God, look at that Hansama damage. This is a Draven unleashed upon G2, and they were not ready.
G2 are crumbling. They're already 0-2 in this series. This team has been in the last 5 European LCS finals, and this could be the first time in the organization's history that they will be knocked out in the quarters.
First time they have to play through the gauntlet. First time they have to fight so hard to secure a spot at Worlds if they lose here. Nothing is guaranteed for this lineup if they cannot find a win. Look at this one, it's pretty clean.
Yeah, Alphari, as soon as he gets down on the ground, uses the Zonias. The rest of the team calls for the double teleports to move on in. And at this point, G2, they've got 5 members, but Wadid, he's tanking tower, he's running away. They don't have the damage to kill Alphari, and at that point, they just get CC chained underneath the tower without any recourse.
5,500 gold is the advantage that Misfits have over the 5-time finalists of G2. This was a roster that was rebuilt after the departure of Sven and Mithy, and while last split, they made it to the finals. Here in this quarters, they are struggling. They have not been able to showcase a huge amount. They will have to find some miracle comeback in order to turn this game around.
And this is a revived Misfits roster as well. They have already won today just as many games in one day that they won in the last 4.5 weeks. They're on the brink of beating that record in just this series alone without dropping a single game. It really is impressive stuff out of them, with every single member stepping up to the challenge.
Both teams now playing in a division. Misfits extending their vision line into enemy territory. They are looking to choke G2 out. It'll be a slow and painful death for this lineup. They will not get their own jungle resources at this stage of the game, and they'll be difficult to get much of anything else. Sama just continues to scale up, continues to stack. Another kill with all these adoration stacks will make it nigh impossible to ever look to 1v1 this Draven. G2 aren't going out without a fight. 4 members here on the top side ready to contest.
Ooh, here comes an ulti onto
Senkox
Senkox.
now could be in trouble. Looks like he will get feared up. Good use of the spell shield there. That's 1 kill back for G2.
Okay, that's a good pick from the side of G2. Senkox overextended in the mid, while Misfits generate some pressure on the top side.
Well, here we go. Hansama's just going in.
Predator to use Hansama. Oh, the Draven dance. Throws the ulti the wrong way. Now is going to bring it back. Wonder. Ooh, beautiful use. He's trying to go gold. He's trying to slide along. He's going to get down another auto attack. He was doing what he came. He's under the tower. Perkz says, I'll pick up that shutdown. Wants to bring it back in a moment of hubris for the Misfits. G2 will get back a good chunk of gold.
A major turn here for G2. They're still looking to go further.
Realm Warp, Wonder wants to bring it in. The knockup goes through, trying to block as much damage as humanly possible. Maxor's on the backside, hoping to get his team out to safety. Perkz now running for his life as they try to cut down Alpari, trying to use his teammates to body block the cleavers. Alpari now sets a ball as well. Double kill for Perkz. G2 not looking quite as out as they once were.
They just got 4 kills for 0 right there. It starts off with Jankos getting a straight up solo kill onto Senkox, and then the whole fight goes in their favor.
The G2 army must have prayed hard, because that was the miracle that they were looking for. Maxlor now in a 1v1 against Jankos.
Just gonna run him down. The fear is there. Poppy not great in these 1v1 scenarios. No keeper's verdict either, but he has to back off. Luckily, Senkox is there to protect him.
And G2, things were looking dire for them, but they found this pick onto Senkox, and with the numbers advantage, they felt confident moving up towards the top side to then stop the siege from Misfits.
And then at this point, Hansama can very easily stay here, get the tower. The rest of G2 is rotating very defensively to clear the next minion wave, but Misfits make the call to go forward. Perkz barely gets out, and the ultimate goes the wrong direction from Hansama. Then a teleport from behind puts Hansama between so many members of G2, and it's what did that bumps him straight into the tower to make this fight a winning one for G2.
And as the rest of it plays out, of course, a lot of confidence coming in from G2. You can tell they're playing from a deficit. Perkz has to dodge every single cleaver by body blocking with his teammates. It is still a close exchange, but they do reign supreme in the end. 5-7 now the kill score. Gold deficit still huge for G2, but things are looking up. 3-1 on Perkz. This is the man we said needs to carry this series. He needs to shut down Senkox. He may not have gotten it in the laning phase, but he's getting it now.
Still a level 11 Hansama. 2 iron time being completed. Here comes the ping.
Alpari now running for his life. The flash over the wall. Good use there with Deed as well. Make that safe.
But that's 3 members topside for G2. Yes, trying to find those picks and kills are important, but Misfits are generating pressure towards the bot side of the map. Here is Wonder with Yarn backing him up.
That's it on Sama, just doing a little bit of damage, trying his best to clear the wave there. Not even afraid of the Sire, they just want to kill him immediately. Can't be disabled though as he backs out. They'll hold on for now.
So Wonder right there did his job. He was there purely to try and clear the wave and stall out this push coming in from Misfits. Misfits still in the area though, but shouldn't be able to get more than a little bit of damage on this turret with that move there from Wonder.
Gentlemen, I'm almost at a loss for words. G2, I'm so impressed that they've even been able to claw back as much as they have. Perkz split pushing on the side lane, but it's going to cost him so much because Misfits are relentless in the mid lane. A beautiful use of the Keeper's Verdict ensures this tier 2 will fall.
Misfits find themselves another objective. Even after a poor fight, they're still that far ahead that they can afford to make these mistakes without losing too much. G2 only finding 1 tower on the map. Draw their eyes towards Perkz, the man that formed this team, the man that this roster was built around at the beginning of the year, the man that did take them to finals in spring. He's currently 3-1-0. He's at a pretty big deficit behind Senkox, but he's going to have to make that play that can turn things around. He still has that potential late game threat off on a side lane, but still, it's wishful thinking at this point as Misfits secure another tower.
The gold deficit just continues to grow as more and more towers are taken down by the side of Misfits. Perkz getting what farm he can, but Baron is right around the corner, and G2 cannot contest in any way. They are way too far behind to try the Baron themselves. So does Misfits, who get to continue to dictate the pace of this game.
Misfits have been so good around that objective. It really felt like they're drafting comps to play for that. This time around, they just have such a large advantage. that they're going to have all control over this top side of the map. They can move on in, make sure that G2 can't get the pick, because that's the issue. If Misfits split up and Jankos calls that in, remember, it's G2 with all the ability to press one button and immediately find the engagement, so they can never get caught out of position and be down in numbers against this composition.
Pressure then onto Maxlore, onto Mickey to keep Han Sama alive in the coming fights. But still, even after the pick, even if G2 use all those cooldowns to kill a single member, the fight is still difficult as Mundo and the Malzahar continue to ramp up. A lot of flat magic penetration there to cut through the squishier members of the G2 lineup. Things definitely looking grim. G2 though holding on for now, clearing out what vision they can, playing safe. They know their territory on the map, they know what they have to give up. They're not looking to lose anymore.
Yeah, they're just slowly pushing the vision deeper and deeper into G2's topside jungle. They need a mid-wave in order to properly gain control, and you can see Hjarnan, he's going pretty far up in the lane so he can catch the wave first, start poking it down to him, but Misfits don't have that much control. But the flank coming in from Misfits, Hjarnan's got to be careful.
All right, here off to the side. Max looking to get this one started. They're trying to keep the fight going. They're looking to go in on the Senkuks. Can't they get anything else? The ultimate comes in. Ready to come through. Senkuks immediately. Maxlore is still there. Arfari is still there. The tankier members are here. Jankos is running for his life. The flash is not going to be enough because Maxlore is still hungry. 2 for 1 the exchange in the end.
G2 are trying to play for picks, but it's not around Perkz. He was not there for the huge fight. Now without a jungler alive, Misfits can head back to the Baron.
You can see the pings coming down. They have full vision control around the top side. Wonder's even head down to bot. Now his TP is up soon, but with a Draven and a Mundo, this Baron is going to go down quickly.
10k health. We have to keep our eyes. Are G2 going to contest? Jankos is down. Really no chance here. Perkz not even going to look for it. They're going to try to get a bottom lane tower for this Baron in the end. But game 3, G2 backs against their wall. They are down almost 10k gold. It will be just about 10k as the Baron falls. Misfits now with the Baron. This is Misfits' game to lose.
This is a Misfits team that doesn't want to just stop in the semifinals either. They are looking to push as far forward. They want to be in the finals. They have returned to that form at the start of the split where they were undefeated, looking to make that run as deep as they can into playoffs.
And now this was the overextended Hjarnan that we were talking about, but G2 thought that they were safe because they had Wonder and Jankos backing him up. But they end up trading 1 for 1 initially, and then Jankos realizes, oh, I'm super squishy, and against 2 tanks, there's very little that I can do, especially with only 1 item, which gives a huge advantage over to Misfits, because not only did they find the kills, they got the jungler, which made that Baron easy pickings.
I have to say, we're at this point where Maxlore now not just has the Predator to get into fights, but also the Righteous Glory. So it's Misfits finding these flanking opportunities to try and single out the backline and knock them forward. That is really going to result in super explosive fights for their side.
G2 though, setting up for picks, playing patiently. They know the Death Brush may be one of their only options. Used outside the brush, still gets a little bit. Whoa! A lot of damage down on it with D. The ulti coming in. Jankos
going into mid.
denying vision, immediately looking to go under the Senkuks. The special has him out with the ulti out coming. Look for the output. Oh, I think he's still in a tower.
No, he's out. That was so clean from Jankos, and he gets away too. But look in the bottom lane. Misfits are grouped and they're pushing, and G2 are slow to respond.
Yeah, beautiful play from Jankos, but it's not going to be enough. Inhibitor tower in the sights of Misfits. Baron buff is backing them up as well. The axe is finally returning for Han Sama. This could be the death sentence for G2. They're doing what they can to stop it. Eyes are on Perkz and Hjarnan to turn this one around. The tank line, who can find the engage? Jankos is here as well. They have the man advantage. Is it going to be enough? It's going to buy enough time to hold on for now, but the inhibitor does drop in the favor of Misfits.
Senkuks has just been the sacrificial lamb in this game, and Misfits are just fine with it because every time he drops, the team gets further ahead. 0-3-2 is the scoreline for Senkuks, but look at everyone else. 3-2-3 on Han Sama. Maxlore 5-0-3. The rest of this team is capitalizing on every play that G2 tried to make.
And they're gearing up for more. There's a teleport on Senkuks. He can enter if they want to look for more than just this tower.
Break another one. Have to be careful though. Have to respect the pretty game. The 3-man knockup for Wonder could be crucial. Even if falls for D, they want to keep the fight started. Hjarnan does not come to the backside. This is what they needed. Misfits cut through in an instant.
Another game where G2 turned it around in the face to get another one.
Everything that they needed right there in a single moment. The Baron buff denied. They bought time and they want to bring it back.
How do they do it? G2, they were on track to losing their second inhibitor, but another fantastic fantastic team fight comes together. They find the kills they need. They take down 4 members of Misfits, and they reclaim some control on the map.
And they're going to be getting gold too, pushing through the mid lane, and Infernal Drake on top of that, and teleports just get even more. Perkz is out of his territory and in a lot of trouble.
Now backing. Looks like he will make it out safe. G2 aren't going to pursue any further. They know they're still at a deficit. Jankos
Off the ruins.
not going to find him in the end. Backing off G2, buying themselves more time in this game, looking to bring it back.
We have to look at the multi-man knockups here. Wonder and Wadid are the ones that go in. Look at that 3-man there from Wonder into the flash pulverized follow-up. Insane coordination there from the top laner and the support to back up and support the rest of the team to make this fight a victory.
And Perkz arrives way too late to offer any kind of turnaround to the squad. G2, they've done it so many times now, these fights, but Jankos, he is being chased down by Hansama.
Misfits hungry to get something back. Gentlemen, we have to remember how dangerous it is to underestimate G2 Esports. This is a team with so much history that has accomplished so much in their time. Yes, they are down. Yes, they look like they could be out. With this team, you cannot afford to underestimate them. 5 EU LCS tie or 5 EU LCS finals, 4 titles, so many Worlds appearances, the finals at MSI as well. These guys are legendary.
Absolutely, and it's all been around Perkz in the mid lane. Been there from the very beginning. Now he's got the kills. He's got gold 5, 1, and 2. It is up to him leading the charge here for G2 as we go into another fight. Chunk of health. Oh! Goes in. Carries are gone. G2 say, not today, boys. You want to take us out? It is not going to be the clean sweep. You're going to have to get down and dirty in the pit. You are going to have to fight for this win, and you are going to have to say goodbye to your team. This is the H for G2. It's Hansama that gets picked up. Jankos goes straight in to get that AD carry. Now G2, they have the chance to claw back. It is a huge, huge road ahead of them, but they're turning this around in a do-or-die situation.
Keep your eyes on the HP of Hansama at the beginning of this fight, because right now he's full health, but then the Q lands from Perkz, and it chunks him in half. That is the go signal for Jankos to say, as long as you die, I don't care if I go with you. He walks away with his life, and the rest of G2 collapse. 5-0, and G2 find another successful
fight. And it's the same finish in all of these fights that G2 win. It's Perkz getting all of his team into that realm warp, sending them to pick up the straggling members. But it's him. It is all him. 5.3k damage, insane numbers from this player, and the fans believe.
G2 fans standing, being counted now as they show support for their team in their darkest time. And after 2 fights like that, I think it makes a lot of sense to see that confidence surge. 63% starting to stabilize. Misfits fans doing what they can to fight back here in the chat. But gentlemen, do you remember that 7k gold lead, that 8k gold lead, that just about 10k gold lead and a Baron buff? Well, now it's just a 3k deficit for G2, and we've seen what that Rise can do. We've seen what that Bars could do. Suddenly, you're not quite so confident Misfits pulling this out.
This Baron is going to be the determining factor in who comes out ahead. It flashes in.
Has to be careful if he messes up this engagement.
Oh, they got him!
Very quickly, they managed to find one engagement, trying to keep it up back forward, trying to disengage. They only managed to hit Yarn and G2. They're backing off. They've played against Vizichachi. They know better than to keep the fight going, but Perkz is not going to hesitate.
Let's go!
Wants to lock this up. Knocks aside for a brief moment. Would he manage to find the 2-man knockup? Everyone is holding on to those key cooldowns. Hansama manages to hit the action on multiple members. Back slowly into the back line. Card is still in touch. Remaining that way. Wonder doing what he can to disengage the back end. Misfits have the momentum in the fight. Alfari trying to push forward. Hansama, rocking the Conqueror. Wants a little bit more. The flash forward from Perkz. The silence, the immediate cleanse. Perkz is running. G2 is running. They're going to give up Wonder. They're going to back off. Turning it to floor. Bringing it back. But Jordan manages to get it. The team fight going back and forth. The blood rush coming in from Hansama. He wants to kill so badly. One more. He wants to get it. He throws it. Oh, he's going to take him down. But the GA coming out. Perkz now waiting. Does get shut down at the end. My God, what a beautiful fight.
It's a 3v1 with long death timers and no tower on this inhibitor. A massive wave. Misfits, they are looking for the win.
Are they going to go for it right here? This could be everything. Yarnan versus the world right now. Can he do it? Yarnan and Wadid, the G2 bottom lane, the best bottom lane in the West. That's what they earned at Rift Rivals. Can they prove it here? Want to turn it back. Hansama just cutting down the tower. PvE the focus. They know they do not need to fight the champions. Silence goes inside. Has to go. Flight, but they're going to find the knockup. Hansama shut down for Hansama. One more to close it out. Double punched their ticket.